Okay guys, let's go ahead and make some fried sushi cakes. So for this recipe, you're going to need some sushi rice. You're going to need some imitation crab meat, an avocado, Japanese mayo, sriracha, rice wine vinegar, chili oil, everything but the bagel seasoning, and a little bit of sugar. And that is it. Let's go. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is cook your sushi rice. You can cook it according to the package. As you can see, steam is still coming out from mine, so it is just now being brought out. So what we're going to do is take about 3 tablespoons of the rice wine vinegar, and we're just going to pour that inside of the rice, and then we're going to take about the same amount of sugar, so 3 tablespoons. This is a super easy recipe. And then what we're gonna do is go ahead and just mix that up. You wanna do it while it's hot so that the sugar will still melt in the rice. And then we're gonna create our rice molds. So, because this is a fried sushi, so our rice has to cool and harden in order for it to work. All right, now that we have our rice mixed up, let's go ahead and create the molds. So what you want to do is get you a glass pan or something that is rectangular, and you're going to place your rice in there, and we're going to pack it down when we place it, because we want to create squares out of this once it cools. And I'm just making sure that everything is evenly spread. Got a little bit more left. I think that's all I need. Just gonna spread it out evenly. And we're gonna pack it down so that it can harden. Now you don't want it to be too hard because you want to be able to cut it into squares, because after that we're actually going to freeze it. It's better when you fry it when it's frozen. So we're going to leave it in the refrigerator for about an hour and a half, and then we're going to take it out and we're going to create our squares. So just keep packing it down, making sure it's even. Making sure that one side is not thicker than the other. Just take your time, you'll get it. Alright, so I pretty much got an even playing field. I'm just smoothing it out on top to make sure. Yep, we're good to go. So I'll give you an aerial view. So I packed mine up to the top, but as you can see, it's not a big pan. It can fit in my hand. And we're going to go ahead and just place this in the refrigerator for about an hour and a half. We're going to come back and slice our squares. Alright you guys, so I have pulled my rice out of the refrigerator. It has been in there for about an hour and a half. It has solidified. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and cut it into squares so that we can freeze them, so that when we go to fry them, they fry up real nice and crispy. So I'm just making the rectangulars first on how I want it, and then I'm gonna cut that in half as well. So I'm gonna do this. So this is about how you want your squares to be. It is still a little sticky, but that's because sushi rice is sticky rice. So just always remember that. And I'm just moving it out of the way. Like that. And voila. So I'll show you the thickness. There you go. And I'm going to just make sure they're not touching each other. Pack in some of the loose rice like this. Just space them out. And now we're gonna leave them in the freezer for about an hour and a half. Now this can be done a day ahead of time, or if you wanna make more than this and not eat it all at once, you can go ahead and just make a big batch and just keep it in your freezer. But this is how much we're making today. And like I said, we're gonna pop it in the freezer for about an hour and a half, and then we'll start making our crab. So let's go. Okay, so we have our rice in the freezer. We're gonna start working on our sauce to go in our crab mixture. So what you're gonna need is our Japanese mayo. We're gonna squirt some of that into our ramekin dish, just so that we can make sure we are mixing everything appropriately. Now, this is the brand that I'm using. You can find it in your local grocery store in the Asian aisle. If you don't have Japanese mayo, feel free to use regular mayo. It will give it a different taste. However, you can still use it. Next, we're going to squirt in just a little bit of sriracha. That's about enough for now. And then we're going to use our chili oil. And I'm just going to open that up. And I'm going to take my fork and try to not get as much of the chili in there, but just the oil. All right. Like so. And then we're just going to go ahead and mix that up. I go by taste. I do not go by measurements. So we're going to mix that up really, really good. I can tell already I need more mayo because I want it to be a little lighter than that. So I'm just going to squirt some more mayo in there. And let's keep mixing. A little bit more mayo. And then what is optional, which is why I didn't show you guys, we're going to put a little bit of honey in there. So let me grab that. And I'm going to use the Mike's Hot Honey because this is, I do want it to be a little bit spicy. But this honey isn't spicy for real. If you eat at Mod's Pizza, you've had this before. So just going to mix that in there just to give it some sweetness. Alright, it's at the consistency that I want. So we are going to switch over to our meat. Okay, so we have our crab meat, our imitation crab meat. We flaked it up just a little bit. And over here is a sauce we just made. We're only going to pour a little bit. We're not going to pour a lot. Make sure we scraping our sides. We're not trying to make a mess. And we're just going to eyeball it because we want it to be thick enough to sit on our sushi. And I'm just mixing it in. And then another part that's optional, but I have it, so I'm going to use it, is my scallions. So I'm just going to sprinkle a couple scallions in there because I do like the taste of scallions. And of course, it makes everything look pretty. But just adding that in there. Oh, this smells so good. I think I want a little bit more scallions. Look at that. All right, we're gonna set this in the refrigerator and let it set. This is a little liquidy right now. And when we come back, we're gonna start frying our rice. See you soon. Okay guys, we are now at the stove. We have our vegetable oil heating up. I have taken out some of my rice cakes. I'm only cooking 4, but as I said in the beginning of the video, that you can keep the frozen cakes in the freezer and use them when you're ready. So what I'm going to do is toss in the rice. You want it to be on medium heat, so when you toss it in, you don't want it to overflow, but it's going to cook from the inside out, and it's going to give a nice little crispy coating on the skin. So just watch and see. All right, so we went ahead and cooked all of our rice cakes. I told you I was cooking 4. They should look like this. I know, they look like hash browns. And then what we're gonna do is take our avocado. I've already mashed it up. Just left the seed in there so that it won't turn brown. And the ones that you want avocado on, go ahead and spread that on top. Not everyone in my house likes avocado, so I'm only doing 2 with the avocado. But it's good whether you do it with the avocado or not. So my hands are clean, guys. I'm just spreading that on top, making sure it looks beautiful. And then I'm going to spread it on the second one. And this is why you need the everything but the bagel seasoning, because we're going to sprinkle that on top of our avocado. So as you can see, we have those 2 done. So I'm just taking my everything but the bagel, no salt in there, and I'm just going to sprinkle some of that on top like that. And then for this next step, we're going to actually do it for both of them. So I have my crab mixture. We're going to take that mixture and place that on top as well. Ooh, it's so yummy. This is an easy sushi recipe at home. Anyone can do it. You don't have to roll it up or do anything, which is great. Make sure you're piling that seafood right on top. Oh, so good. Just picking it up. We're gonna move over to the ones that don't have it. The avocado. I'm just gonna place that right on top. And I did it on a plate separate from how I'm gonna serve it, because it does get a little messy. So we're gonna add it to our serving plate, and I'll be back to show you the finished product. And there you guys have it, the fried sushi. Oh my God. I hope you like this recipe. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and bon appetit.